It's a hot day. We've had a heat index of 116 degrees. I've been sweating like crazy all day. Now we finally are getting a breeze. It feels like a storm is about to roll in. But with any luck, we'll have success shooting this next video for you. We're going to evaluate a 2014 Mitsubishi Lancer. Again, make sure you've got your gear with you, a light and a rag, and the right mindset, you know, like a detective, an investigator. Here we go. Let's take a look at the VIN plate, make sure it is clear. It does look good. Okay, I memorized the digits. I'm gonna see if I can match those up inside the door. Okay, I do have a match, that's great. Right away, I notice I've got a PDR hole right there. So take a look at that. That is a little plug that has just been put in the door. And so what happens is, if you get a small ding on the door, a paintless dent repair person, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll just take a drill and drill a hole right in there, just zip, and then they'll reach in with a little tool, they'll work the dent out, and then they'll put a little plug in afterwards to kind of close the hole. So that's actually a PDR plug right there, paintless dent repair. This is not paintless dent repair. That's a factory plug, and that's actually the access to the door handle. So factory, paintless dent repair. So we now take a look inside. The upholstery looks good. No burns, no rips, no tears. Looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and hop in, see what we see. You want to look all around at everything. The door panels look good. The dash looks good, no cracks. The headliner looks good, no problems there. I do see that I've got a big crack in the windshield. So the windshield will need to be replaced, and on a car like this, you can replace a windshield for less than $200. So no big deal. Basically, everything looks quite good in here. So let's go ahead and start the car up. I've got the door open so I can hear the motor better. Motor sounds great, starts right up, sounds good. No engine lights on, motor sounds good. While you're in here, you want to test everything, you know, make sure the windows work, make sure the locks work, radio, air conditioner, just test everything and see if it works. All right, pretty good. Let's go ahead, make sure the hood is open, the trunk, the doors, and let's proceed. All right, the roof, great shape. We got factory paint, no dents. I do have a repainted panel here, so this has been repainted, so I want to be very sure to take a special close look at this side of the vehicle and see if there's any more damage anywhere on this side of the car in case it may have been hit, something bad may have happened. This, we've got factory paint, the bolts have not been turned. Up here, the bolts have not been turned. It looks good so far. The door, factory paint. Okay, so it's an original door. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look under the car. Okay, the box rail, the frame rail looks good all the way down. The floor pan looks good, the pinch rail looks good. It's dry, there are no leaks. Everything looks quite good underneath the car. Exhaust, catalytic converter, everything's there. Okay, deep tread on the tire. Tire looks good. Factory paint here, factory paint there. All right, I'll step on back to my first corner of the vehicle. High, medium, and low down the sides of the vehicle. Okay, the body is straight, the paint looks shiny and consistent down the side of the vehicle, so everything looks pretty good there. The front of the vehicle, I can see I've got some rock chips on the hood and bumper. That's pretty normal, especially on a car that sits down kind of low like this. But no major damage other than the crack in the windshield. All right, let's come on forward, open the hood. All right, factory paint, factory paint, factory paint. The bolts have not been turned on anything, fenders and hood, that looks good. Take a look at the oil. Oil looks fine. Clean under the cap, that's good. Okay, the welds on the apron and the core are original. Same thing here. And then looking all the way up to the front of the frame rail, everything looks good there. And here as well. Okay, take a look underneath the car. Okay, everything looks pretty good. I do see like a little bit of a plastic cover hanging down under the car. That is just a plastic piece that might have come loose. We can fix that very easily. No big deal as far as that goes. No main concern. All right, let's put the hood down. No dents in the hood. The hood's in great shape. Just has some chips that we could touch up with a touch-up pen. All right, let's come to the second corner of the car. Okay, the panels are straight. The paint is shiny. Got some little scrapes on the front bumper down low. We could touch those up. But basically everything looks pretty good down the side of the car. All right, good tread on the tire. Factory paint, factory paint. Let's go ahead and open the door. The bolts look original. While we're in here, we can always pull these seals back if we want to make sure. Got the nice, beautiful little round factory welds. Everything looks great inside there. While I'm here, let me take a look underneath the car. Same thing, I'm looking down the box rails, the floor pan, the pinch rails. Everything is in great shape under this car, no damage. All right, the back door, factory paint here. That's all good. The bolts have not been turned. I can pull the seals and double check the welds. Factory welds, everything's looking good so far. Okay, put that seal right back on there. Good tread on the rear tire. All right, let me come to my third corner. All right, so standing here, again, I kind of move around, let the light reflect off of the side of the car, high, medium, and low. The side of the car looks great. The back of the car, I can see a little bit of damage. Something's happened in that corner over there. We'll take a look at that a little more closely in just a moment. Also, I can see some bubbles. The window tint on the rear window is kind of bubbling up. That sometimes happens with window tint after a while. That's an easy cure. You can just peel it off and throw away the tint altogether, just leave it off, or we could put a new piece of tint on there. No big deal, it'll look great. Okay, the top of the deck lid is in good shape. There's a little small bend down here, it's very minor. Original bolts on the deck lid, so that's original. Original welds inside here. Original welds here. This seam is factory, and so is that, so that looks all good. I can lift this up to look underneath. Also, I can pull this back to look inside, to see if there's any damage. Everything looks original. Original welds here. I don't see any bent components, so that is good. All right, let's come to this corner. We can see there's some scrapes on the bumper cover, and the bumper cover's kind of popped out a little bit, which those just kind of snap in place. But it looks like the car is either backed into something or something's hit the back and kind of scraped up that bumper, busted the tail light, and just slightly bent the trunk lid. Now, if we want it to be perfect, we could fix the trunk lid, the light, and the bumper, but if we want to just very quickly make it look almost totally fine to everybody, we could fix the tail light and probably just repaint that bumper cover, or you could touch it up with a touch-up pen. Wouldn't look as good, but pretty easy to fix it to where it would look pretty good again. We want to take a close look underneath the car, especially in this corner, to make sure, you know, whether or not there's any damage up here to the trunk pan, to the rear body panel, to the underneath frame of the car, because, you know, sometimes you see something that doesn't look bad, but because these covers actually flex when they're hit, they'll pop back out. It could have been hit really hard in the back and caused a lot of structural damage. So we want to take a good look underneath. All right, so the trunk panel looks great. The rear body panel is fine. And the frame rails are actually perfect. So it looks like this is just very light surface damage that did not, you know, go deep into the vehicle. The interesting thing about this, though, is this quarter panel has been repainted. So this would be a situation where it looks like there have actually been two different accidents that have happened to this car in its life. Something has happened, maybe where there was a dent or scrape here. This has been repainted, and then down the road at some other point, it looks like we've had another accident. And that's how I would see it, because if it was only one accident and you painted this, you would have fixed everything, right? It doesn't make sense. So we know that there must have been two different accidents. The first one that was fixed, and then a second one that has not been repaired. And so we have some damage on the vehicle right now. All right, so good tread on the back tire. From this corner, you know, everything looks pretty good on the car, except for just a little bit of damage on the corner. All right, so we know this has been repainted. The door has factory paint on it. The welds looked original back here, but let's go ahead and pull the seals here to take a close look. Okay, so we have the factory welds all the way through here, all the way down. So it is an original panel, but it's simply been repainted at some point in the past. So a situation like this, we want to see, you know, what's the quality of the paint? We want to see, you know, does the panel have a bunch of body filler, a bunch of Bondo in there that's going to crack out? It actually looks good. The panels look straight. The paint has a nice shine to it. It looks very consistent with the rest of the car, so it's good. The interior is nice. The rear door is nice. All right, so that was a quick look at a 2014 Lancer. And very quickly, what we've determined, we've had some previous repairs to the driver quarter panel. It has a little bit of damage right now to the rear bumper, the tail light, very tiny damage to the deck lid, and it needs a windshield. So we're going to factor those repairs into the value of this car. All right, thank you for joining us, and remember, life is bright when you buy it right.